I recognize the honourable member for Coquitlam, Malawi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm pleased to stand in this chamber in response to my colleague from Boundaries to Milkameen to talk about winter sports here in British Columbia. And as an avid skier, pretty decent skier I have to say, and a very bad hockey player, I recognize that in order to be an active Canadian athlete, one has to have some connection to winter sports. And there are so many winter sports to be had here in British Columbia, Honourable Speaker. We've got skiing, different kinds of skiing. We've got alpine, backcountry, cross-country, heli-skiing, cat skiing, biathlon, ski jumping, and freestyle. We have snowboarding, sorry, Mr. Speaker, snowboarding. We have alpine, border cross, slalom, snow skating, slope style, I don't know what that is, I have to research that one. We have para-snowboarding, we've got snowmobiling, snowshoeing, we've got sliding sports like tubing and tobogganing. We have yukigassen here in British Columbia, Honourable Speaker, that's competitive snowball fighting. I want to partake in that, perhaps we can do that with the other side of the House. We have snow stake, a traditional First Nation game. And then, of course, Honourable Speaker, there are the ice sports. We have ice skating. That includes figure skating and speed skating. We have hockey, sledge hockey, ringette curling, wheelchair curling, ice climbing. We have different kinds of sledding, whether it's bobsled, dog sled, luge, or skeleton. And we have, of course, broomball that I played when I was a young child in Montreal. Now, these traditional winter sports all have snow or ice as part of their activities, but we also know, Honourable Speaker, that there are other sports that are played around British Columbia, that British Columbians engage in many different sports that occur during the winter time that are not necessarily connected to ice and snow. So some of the winter sports that we see here in British Columbia are sports like gymnastics, wrestling, soccer, and water polo. These are all played during the winter season as well, Honourable Speaker. And while we are all very proud to cheer on our athletes in all of these traditional and non-traditional winter sports here in BC, I worry that we don't necessarily see the support that they should have from this government, Honourable Speaker. I mean, and we know in order for all of these sports to thrive in our communities, we rely on volunteers to organize and coach our children as they develop their skills and their confidence and their fitness levels. We also know that in order to make these sports thrive, that we need to have the support of gaming grants to subsidize some of the activities that help make these programs successful here in British Columbia. So it was disappointing, Honourable Speaker, last fall, and it was actually quite disturbing to see how there was a complete failure to ensure that gaming grants, critical funds that these sporting groups rely on, that they were not successfully adjudicated and awarded in a timely manner, Honourable Speaker. Back in October, government stalled on over 1,100 grant applications, many of which would support winter sports in our community. The White Rock South Surrey Skating Club, Honourable Speaker, was in a panic last fall because of the government's bureaucratic shuffle, and an 8-week delay in confirming the grants meant that these groups had to consider cancelling their winter programming. A soccer club in Surrey, Honourable Speaker, cancelled their girls program because they didn't have assurance that they would be able to receive the funds in order to expand to a new program because they hadn't heard about the funding. And that, Honourable Speaker, is rather disappointing to me. Now, the North Shore Titans Water Polo Club, another winter sport, although it's played in the water in the winter, but it is a winter sport. They had significant stress this last fall because there was such a delay in the funding announcement. So I really, Honourable Speaker, I really believe that if we really are champions of these winter sports, if this government and this side of the House are really our champions, we would do everything to make sure that those volunteers, that those coaches, that those activities can go as planned. Because, Honourable Speaker, at the end of the day, we all value sport because it's good for our health, it's good for our communities, it's great for our children to have success at these early ages in things that they want to try. But, Honourable Speaker, unless we have the supports, the community organizations have the supports that they need in order to make those programs successful, then we're really not providing the support that they need. So, Honourable Speaker, with that, I'll take my seat and wait to hear from the response from my colleague.
Thank you, Honourable Member.